Hello students, today we are going to discuss the concept of patriarchy. In this lecture, what I am trying to figure out that to make you understand the meaning of patriarchy, how different strains of the feminist define the concept of the patriarchy, and we are also going to engage with the various feminist scholars who contested the category of patriarchy. Also the feminist historians articulated the concept of patriarchy, and further we will try to analyze and understand the public and private patriarchy. The term patriarchy derives from the 19th century anthropology and literally means the rule of the father from the Latin word, and pater means father and arch means rule. It emerged in the context of the mid 19th century on research on kinship and human society. The term patriarchy refers to the rule by the male head of the social unit. And in order to understand the patriarchy, let us take an example of the opposite word matriarchy. Now matriarchy was centered to the earliest human societies, groups under the control of the mother figure, and matriarchy means rule of the mother. And we have number of evidences if we go and figure out the number of research which is done, archival research, historical research, in which you would see that how the rule of the mother or the mother figure was there. The main the point which I would like to focus here is that in the matriarchy is the reproductive capacity of the woman and the categorization of woman as a particular in nature. So let us come back to the concept of patriarchy. Today of course the concept also changes eventually, and today we can call it elders in the society is a patriarch who possesses the lawful power over the younger men, women, children and other marginal categories such as LGBTQ. For instance, when we say elder, it can be a woman also, and you can relate these examples in the everyday society, the equation between the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. In some of the cases you would see that the mother-in-laws are very dominating the ways in which they subordinates the daughter-in-law, and this is a common phenomena to analyze in the everyday life, right? So feminist scholars in the early 20th century deployed the category of patriarchy to analyze the societal system based on masculine domination and its control over the woman. Therefore, the notion of gender studies considered patriarchy as important category that helps us to understand and to map the operation of women by men in everyday life. Now, I would like to figure out some of the significant scholars like Friedrich Engel. Friedrich Engel born in 1820, and he analyzed patriarchy to refer the generalized form of the male dominance over woman was. Engels analyzed how development of private property resulted in the operation of the woman. It happened in the backdrop of the classless earlier form of the society with the division of the labor between men and women and the common property relation, and further lead to the operation of the woman. So Petrellini also analyzed kinship system where descent and inheritance is through the father. Now, one is to also understand that how feminist and women studies scholar in 1970s onwards deployed the category of the patriarchy in order to understand, or it denotes the general structure of the male dominance, which structure meant to regulate the labor and sexuality of the woman. This control in the realm of the family, and you would see that the ways in which that the patriarchy operates in the family in the everyday life. You take an example of yourself, you observe it within your family, across the family, how the control of the male which is there in the family in the context of labor, sexuality of the woman, and thus impacted the dignity of the woman, right? So category of the patriarchy in fact is contested in a several way. Now let me explain to you patriarchy in the history, how historian or the feminist historians has seen this. For instance, Lerner, an American historian, and a professor in the women's studies in her book The Creation of the Patriarchy, which she contributed in 1986, analyzed the earliest civilization of the ancient Mesopotamian cities, right? In which you would see that which corresponds broadly to the regions of the contemporary Iraq in the West Asia. One can go further and relate this debate in order to understand the Indus Valley civilization of the Harappan civilization, and there are literature available which if you are interested you can always go and look for. Now learners wanted to analyze the history of the patriarchal system. She analyzed the early Neolithic hunting gathering societies. The precarity related to the life lead to the early division of the labor between women who did the mothering and economic activities such as childbearing, food gathering, and men used to do hunting. Lerner explains the relation between men in relation to the development and transformation driven by the agriculture relative social forms of the living being. It also leads to the unequal family structures and production becomes an important part due to agriculture. She further thus analyzed that how men cherish to acquire the reproductive potential of the woman and children become an economic asset. Lerner analyzed the entry of the agriculture resulted in terrible warfare. It provided the leisure time to the men. It is further analyzed how the captured women from the other tribes become slaves come the first forms of the private property. Now learners thus challenged the Engels hypothesis that private property proceeds the greater control over women's sexuality. By coherently analyzing that the opposite, woman as a slave and may well have lead to the first form of the private property apart from the animal husbandry. Gradually for learners, women become valued and paradoxically controlled by form of the dependency. Slave-like position of the woman also follows creation of the wealth and urban centers and state. Lerner also focused on slavery and class. Now, let us try to understand through this, and if you are interested you can always go for the Creation of Patriarchy. This book is available and you can always go and read to understand in a deeper manner the Lerner's position on patriarchy. Now let us get into this debate that how other feminists looked at the concept of the patriarchy. Now radical feminists, for instance Kate Millett and others who dealt with the patriarchy argues that family operates as a key institution that structures the domination of the male. And therefore you would see that the regulation which are there, which radical feminist talks about, the body of the woman is controlled again by the men. Scholars such as Shulamith Firestone also analyze the manner in which biology structures the power relations between men and women, and especially in the context of the reproductive dimension. On the other hand, scholars like Brown, Miller and Rice probed how masculine regulation of the bodies of the woman, which controls through rape, male violence or the sexuality, and what they argued, in fact you can relate for instance in everyday life the violence against women which women face, the abuse or the rapes which are going around in the public and private domain, or it might be identity politics, class, communal violence, and where the bodies of the women have been used as an instrument in order to show the power or the violence. And you can relate with Khap Panchayat, you can relate with any example which you would see in everyday life. You just open the newspaper, what you are seeing, you can analyze the category of the patriarchy, how it is actually operating in the everyday life when it comes to the violence against women also and the sexuality of the woman. And radical feminists in fact actually developed this framework which we need to understand the amount of contribution radical feminists did by articulating these voices. To understand the Marxist feminist position, the ways in which they argue, they say that patriarchy is central to the economic system grounded in capitalism. Therefore, the economic and the capitalist order thrives on the unpaid labor of the woman in the home. And you can relate, take an example in your own family, the amount of contribution your mother, sisters doing, which the work, whether cooking, caring of the elderly people, looking after the children, these are all falls under those category in which that's unpaid labor. And this can be also in the public domain seen. For instance, take an example of the construction worker, in which you would see that the male construction worker get paid more than the woman compared to the woman, and the wages for the question. They do the same work, there is no question about that, the amount of work they are doing. So the work, the kind of contribution of the labor and work they do is similar, but there is also been a division, there is also been a discrimination when it comes to the wages, right. So, capital subordination of labor, the structure, the operation of the woman to men. Gender inequality thus is the product of class based unequal system, which Barrett also argues. Now, let us also understand the dual system theory, which is analyzed in the relation between the capitalism and patriarchy as a central to gender inequality. Marxian and radical feminist approach influence the conceptual underpinning of the dual system theory. Dual system theory emerged as a critique to the class reductionist proclatives of the Marxism based on class and the reductionist tendencies based on the patriarchy and the biology. Now, Marxian and radical feminist approach influenced the category of the dual system theory, which I already mentioned to you, but then certain stream with the dual system theory theorize interdependent nature of the capitalism and patriarchy and its coexistence sustenance based on the operation of woman, which again what I have explained to you. So, therefore, it is very important to understand what kind of critiques for the understanding the patriarchy in the context of the gender studies. How gender studies offer a critique to entire understanding of the patriarchy. Now, as a gender studies scholar or the student, we need to also understand that if we look at historically, again it is again feminist historian, but in the most recent times, that for instance if we take it 50, 60 onwards, that the women's and the feminist movement contributed and they offer the critique. In academia also, then gender studies, gender they offer the critique by saying that patriarchy, gender approaches have failed to recognize the historical transformation of the gender relation, because we were not actually putting an effort or giving any attention to the historical location of the woman. Thus, historicism is a center to these approaches, and patriarchy is reduced to biology or capitalism or the family, right. Now, the category of patriarchy is critique for universalism that has not acknowledged culture mutation and imagine that operation of the woman and men across the globe operates in the same manner. Like FGM, we all of us know genital mutation which is happening and some of the South African countries, the ways in which it operates. The amount of, and that becomes a culture in fact of those particular societies in which that the women have to kiss, and you can relate this debate to understand yourself. At the same time, the black feminists also critique the hegemonic theoretical approaches on the gender relation that fail to understand the interlinkages between racism, patriarchy and capitalism. And we can extend this whole argument what black feminists said in order to understand the Dalit feminism also, that how the the caste, patriarchy and capitalism operates within each other, and there are good number of examples and studies have come out to make you understand about it. You can always go and check it, but then you can always relate these debates in order to understand each other threats, right. So, certain critics demonstrated that there is a certain inherent abstract structuralism that is habituated to agency, generation and resistance to gender inequality. Now, for instance, as I mentioned to you, the Dalit feminism, Uma Chakravarti in fact was very much inspired by Lerner's work Creation of Patriarchy, and then she formulated further that looking at the ancient history, the relation between the ancient India, the ways in which that she is looking at the religious texts, and further she relates basically between the caste and ancient texts. And then she formulated this concept called Brahmanical patriarchy, in which that women were controlled by men via caste and class hierarchies and different sects. Now, the point is that we need to also understand the debate on capitalism and patriarchy, because this perspective also emerge as a part to analyze of the advanced societies. Marxist feminists, as I already mentioned to you, that dealt with the capitalist social relation and arrived at the capitalist patriarchy, right? On the other hand, feminists critique the writings of the Marx Engels, and they argue that there is some sort of silence on the women's question which is not taken by them. Socialist feminist Zillah Eisenstein, in her edited work called Work, Capitalist Patriarchy and the Case of the Socialist Feminism, which she contributed in 1979, in which she analyzed men and women workers exploited in the oppressive factory capitalist system, and women are more oppressed in the exploitative and domestic arenas. Her unpaid labor concept within the family is central to the oppressive patriarchal social order. It is therefore that one need to also understand certain debates which Sylvia Wolby talked about. Is there any way to overcome this reductionist approach? Now, patriarchy for Sylvia Wolby refers to societal order and practices that structure the domination of men and operation and exploitation of the woman, right? What are the six? And it's very interesting if you go and look at Theorizing Patriarchy, the book which was contributed by Sylvia Wolby in 1990, in which that she offers very interestingly six structure of the patriarchy, and which I will call it Webblian conceptual framework for the patriarchy. Now, let us understand what she talks about in order to understand this debate of the patriarchy with her formulation of the six categories. A is household production, B is the paid work, C is the state, D is the male violence, E is the sexuality, and sixth category is the F, which is culture. We need to understand basically that how these each category operates in order to understand and how it is linked, and we would see in the everyday life. Now, women's labor in the home needs to be understood in the context of men and other members in exchange for her maintenance. It operates within the patriarchal mode of production, which is the first one. For instance, the amount of work which I already mentioned within the private domain which women are doing and contributing, we never evaluate that, we never understand that, but it operates in the patriarchal mode of production. On the other hand, the second category which I said to you, which deals with the paid work, there is a systematic ways of exclusion of the woman in the field of the paid work. They are pushed to the lower levels of the paid work by justifying that they are less skilled, therefore it leads to their lower wages as well. And I have given you example of the construction worker previously to explain. The third category which one has to understand is the institution which Wolby talked about. Feminist scholars in fact analyze how political institutions also reproduce the ideology of the patriarchy. Now, when one is talking about this upward mobility of women, the emancipation of the woman, but then how in the political institutions there are patriarchy which operates in the everyday life, and there is an outright denial. So, one would see that the political institution also reproduce the ideology of the patriarchy and blocks the possibility of the social mobility and the emancipation processes of the woman. The next category is the male violence, and I already explained to you, but male violence and its horrendous forms in the context of law denotes the contradiction, because we have many legal amendments and the laws which the welfare the state has produced, but it still failed to understand these categories, because every day the violence against women within public and private domain is increasing. So, understanding the male violence as a crime in the realm of law have led to the societal transformation, and the question of the domestic violence, sexual discrimination have also become central to the legal discourse. Like for instance, that in the in the public domain, for instance, the sexual harassment at workplace, or in the personal domain, you would see the domestic violence cases, the ways in which it is increasing, and there are all kinds of gender based violence which one can relate in order to understand the violence by the men. Now, in the next is that where Wolbe talks about the whole sexuality, in which that the compulsory heterosexuality, the normative forms of the sexuality with the member of the other sex has legitimate the patriarchal men, and it leads to the othering of the woman through their isolation and punitive measures for their deviance. And this can be also understand through legal means very categorically, and there are several examples which you can relate in the society. Now, Sylvia Wolbe's model, which she actually said, one of the very significant point which she argues is the patriarchal modes in the cultural institutions like education, religion and media. And you would see the ways in which it operates in the everyday life of the people, where women are pushed into the margin, and this whole discourse of the culture is never been questioned, because the patriarchy actually is having that methods and the modes to operate. Now, bias against women also through cultures are legitimized, and you would see that the culture representation which how it produce the biases for the woman. Therefore, that women's labor also in the house needs to be understood in the context of men and other members in the exchange of her maintenance. It operates within the patriarchal mode of production, and there is a systematic ways of exclusion of the woman in the field of the paid work, which I already mentioned to you. They are pushed to the lower levels of the paid work by justifying that they are less skilled, right, which I already again explained to you. Now, Wolbe says also that patriarchy also changes over a period of time, and we need to understand this, that time and again patriarchy takes a shape and it changes. How did it change over a period of time? That we need to question. Now, what Wolbe argues is that patriarchy changed from private form to the public patriarchy in the 20th century Britain, because if you look at theorizing patriarchy, the work she contributed, since she belonged to the United Kingdom, she is analyzing the the British society and how the complete private form of the patriarchy actually shifted to the public patriarchy. And further she argues that private patriarchy is based around the family and the household, and it further leads to the exploitation of the labor of the woman by the men. It sidelines into women into the domestic realms and therefore nullifies their possibility to be part of the public works. Now, public patriarchy, as she argues that women are part of the public life. If you go and look at that, the amount of contribution or the contribution which was done by the liberal feminists to bring back to the woman into the public life, demand for the education, voting rights and so on and so forth, you would see that they contributed, but the public patriarchy also is that which is bringing the woman into public. Ironically, they had to experience inequality and discrimination related to the paid work also. you know. So Wolby acknowledges the role of the feminist movement in fact in foregrounding the shift from the public to that of the private patriarchy through access to education, to entering to profession, to right to vote, to legal rights related to divorce, related to the marriage and so on and so forth. And we all must have acknowledged this also. It is further analyzed that and I quote from Wolby's book, Theorizing Patriarchy, which she contributed in 1990, page number 201. It has merely changed its form so that now, as she puts it, rather than being restricted to the household, women have the whole of the society in which to roam and to be exploited. Although an improvement of the earlier theories, Wolby's reformulation of the patriarchy has itself been subject to the criticism, and there is also been a criticism offered by some other scholar. Now, Anthesis and Neera Ewell Davis, they in fact contributed a book in 1992 and criticized that what Sylvia Wolby could not differentiate the dependent nature of the capitalism, patriarchy and racism. It is critical that Wolby's theory tends towards a circular argument where the expansion of the system of the patriarchy are the features of the patriarchy itself. Thus, it is criticized that one could not succeed in understanding the nuances of the patriarchy. Now, some scholars also urge to overcome the limits of the dominant understanding of the patriarchy through an inquiry that encourages focus on the specifics of the social relation rather than homogeneous social system. At the same time, Cornell, these arguments have been given a very similar arguments like Fraser, Nelson, Marshall, they are all given this kind of arguments about this. So, let me conclude by saying that in order to understand this whole debate, what we actually understood through this lecture is that the meaning of patriarchy, how it changes, what was the historical location of the patriarchy, how feminist historian coined this terminology, and over a period of time how they engage with this, and for a gender studies student or the researcher or the feminist or the women's movement, how they actually tease out and how they use the category of the patriarchy in order to understand the research work or everyday life. We have also understood that how different scholars have taken, the feminist scholars actually contested the category of the patriarchy, what were their opinion, and how from the public to the private patriarchy the shift happened eventually, which has given a spaces to the woman in the public life. However, that public and private patriarchy, which is again operating, which is again categorically stating us that women are still exploited, there is a based violence. At the same time, I would urge to all of you to read a couple of this very important book to understand the concept of the patriarchy. A is The Creation of the Patriarchy by Lerner, The Theorizing Patriarchy by Sylvia Wolby. So, thank you. Hope you enjoyed the lecture.